Hello, and welcome to today's live chapter reading of Ride With Me by Vi Summers, brought to you by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Prologue. Gage, 4 months from now. I came here today to say goodbye to her, a proper goodbye this time, and it killed me that I couldn't look her in the eyes and ask for the forgiveness I knew she would willingly give. I wanted her to stare back at me through the tears and tell me it would all be okay. But she wouldn't. She couldn't. I longed for her to tell me I was making the right decision, that she forgave me, even though the unexpected turn of events that had brought me here today had nothing, yet everything to do with her. I needed her to slap me for it, to wake me from this dream that I didn't want woken from. But still, she couldn't. Instead, I settled on the grass beside her while trying to collect the appropriate words. I took my time to organize them in my head, internalize them, repeating them over and over until they sounded just right. She didn't acknowledge my presence, though. I knew she would already be aware of why I was here after months away without visiting her once. For that, I was incredibly guilty. It wasn't my intention to be gone for so long. I'm such a shit human. I clung to the big bouquet of dark purple roses like they were my only lifeline. Realizing I had all but destroyed the stems by squeezing them nervously, I slid them into the large vase beside me, buying a few extra moments. Turning my attention back to Lottie, I growled roughly to clear the wad of dread from my throat. Babe, Fuck, this sucks so fucking much. Placing my hand on the grass next to her, I decided to speak straight from my heart. I'm sorry I haven't been back for months. I intended to, but was hurting and didn't want to face this shit reality again. You have always been my world, and this whole situation is, well, it sucks. I let you down. I failed you. And now I'm here asking, begging for forgiveness because I found someone when I least expected to. I never wanted to love a woman like I loved you. Fuck. You will always be special to me. Always. And you will always own a part of me that I can never give to anyone else. For some reason, in this fucked up universe, there is this ray of sunshine who is dragging me kicking and screaming out of the darkness that's surrounded me for too long. And as much as I've tried, I don't want to fight it anymore. The feeling of defeat was immense. I hung my head between my knees while raking my hands through my hair. I definitely felt like the bad guy, even though I shouldn't. Technically, I hadn't done anything wrong. I love you, I whispered, only so she could hear. Despite the day being perfectly still, with only the low hum of bees and the song of birds to disturb us, I felt the ghost of a cool breeze ripple across the back of my neck. As per usual, everyone else around us was peacefully quiet. I smiled as the goosebumps prickled over my neck, then wove across my shoulders. I was unable to suppress the shudder that followed. Stop that, it's creepy as fuck, I chuckled, pulling some grass and tossing it her way. But my words and actions were met with silence and stillness. Lottie, I don't expect you to forgive me for everything, and I can't live with that. And I can live with that. Just know that you'll always be my first, and nothing can change that. I know you would want me to be happy. And if I'm honest to us both, it's been a long time coming. But now I can finally say I truly am happy again. And I want to be. I closed my eyes and swallowed heavily. I knew she could hear me. Goodbye, baby cakes. I'll visit again soon. Giving the grass between us one final pat, I rose before whispering, sleep tight, babe. Pressing a kiss to the end of 2 fingers, I aimed them her way and then turned to leave. On my way down to the path to where my truck was parked, I tried to shrug off the feeling of eyes boring into my back. 1. Lil, present day. Mickey swerved and pulled in at the curb. My body lurched forward before being thrown back into the seat of his ute. Geez, Mickey, what the hell? Look, he threw an arm close to my face and pointed at the house. They started the fucking fire without me. Well, that's what you get for making us late, I sassed, already opening the door and stepping onto the footpath. Sure enough, the smell of burning wood tainted the late afternoon air, and the remaining ghosts of smoke dissipated into the sky beyond the roof of the house. Laughter rose over the music as Mickey and I hurried up the driveway in anticipation of seeing Nick again. He was our army mate who had been away for a while, and tonight was his welcome home party. I couldn't wait to give him a massive squeeze. The crew came into view when we rounded the corner of the house. "What up, bitches? Little Mickey in the house!" I whooped with my hands raised above my head. That's amazing. My brother and I were welcomed by various greetings hurled from our group of mates sitting around the fire pit. There were 6 of us in total, all having known each other from either birth, kindergarten, or high school. Kimmy was basically our sister. Mace we had known for as long as we could remember, and Trav and Nico had been picked up during the years of circumnavigating high school. The crew we called ourselves, and we were a mishmash of random personalities that created one perfect non-blood related family. Everyone was well into their first few rounds of drinks by the time Mickey and I arrived at the party, and we had some catching up to do. "About bloody time," Mace called from the fire pit. He was my best male friend, and I loved the hell out of him. I simply flipped him off as Neek rose and stalked over to us with a massive grin on his face. After giving Mickey a bro hug, he engulfed me in his massive arms. Neek looked like a hard ass, but he was really a gentle giant. "Nice of you to both finally join us," he murmured. I scoffed. "Blame Mickey. I was running on time." "What the fuck ever," Mickey mumbled and headed for the chili bin. He had been in a mood ever since finishing his shift last night. Neek ducked his head to be closer to my ear. "Bad day at the office?" "Yep." He's not saying much though, as per usual. I pursed my lips and then shook off my worry. "Welcome back, Nico. So good to see you again," I said with a massive squeeze around his waist. "You too, Lil. You drinking tonight?" I raised my brows and met his mesmerizing green eyes. "You know it." Neek chuckled as I linked arms with him, and he wordlessly led me over to the rest of our mates. Nico never said a huge amount, but he sure as hell didn't miss anything. Mace rose and gave me a squeeze. Then I twisted Trav's cap sideways and sidestepped away from the playful swing of his arm before settling on the outdoor couch next to Kimmy. "Is Mickey okay?" she asked in a low voice. "He seems a little uptight." Possessing the hearing of a bat, my brother whipped his head around and glared at Kimmy. "He's fine," I reassured her while flipping him off. Mickey simply flared his nostrils, then resumed talking to Trav. My eyes snagged on our tattooed friend across the flames, and Trav raised his beer at me. His dimpled grin always made my own smile appear, and tonight was no exception. However, the smile slipped from my face a second later when I realized I was still empty-handed. "Mace!" He spun, immediately halting his conversation. I threw up my arms to emphasize my lack of beverage. "I'm getting it," Mace shouted over the music, and I definitely didn't forget. I laughed through my exclamation. "You totally forgot, didn't you?" "Never!" Typical Mace. "Sees something shiny and can't maintain focus," I teased. "Oh, haha, cut a man when he's down," he bitched as he dug out a drink. Handing it my way, I accepted it with a clink of the bottle against his. All being in our mid-20s, this was normal for us. No kids, no girlfriends or boyfriends, and other than work, no commitments. We spent most of our free time in each other's pockets, and that was the way we liked it. A few drinks in, Kimmy, being the mother hen of the group, clapped her hands to get everyone's attention. And this is where we need to get some food cooking. Bags of chips aren't going to cut it from here on out. "Not without me, you won't," Mickey called and jumped to his feet. It was no surprise that Mickey was at the barbecue and lighting a match before Nick had the chance. Even though my brother was a firefighter, he was a pyromaniac through and through. I shook my head as Trav also got to his feet. Between the two of them, they have enough knowledge and skills to blow up the entire neighborhood. I'd better supervise. Raising a brow, I deadpanned. "I really don't think your powers of supervision will decrease the chances of something getting blown up." Trav grinned and threw his arms wide as he backed away. "Seriously, Lil, what can go wrong?" "No, Trav," I exclaimed and pointed at him. "Every time you say that, something always goes wrong. You're a trouble magnet." His grin widened. "It's all gravy, baby." Oh my God, I groaned and ran a hand down my face. Just don't burn the food this time, please. I don't like my sausage burnt. Neither do I, Lil. Neither do I. With the three of them standing around the barbecue talking smack, Mace slid from the nearby chair to beside me on the couch. He then slung his arm around my shoulders and pulled me close. How have you been, Lil? Like, really been? I met his eyes and let the facade drop for a moment. In all honesty, I've been great lately. I hope so. He tapped his forefinger against the top of my bottle. Go easy tonight, yeah? Always. With a raise of his brow, he gave me the yeah right look I'd received countless times throughout the year, and he knew things about me no other living soul did. And likewise, I'd seen Mace through his darkest days. We'd battled through a lot over the years, and were always there for one another. It was simply what we did. I mean it, Missy. Last time we got on the piss, you tried to molest me with a goddamn bottle. I threw back my head and laughed at the dimming sky. Oh, come on, don't pretend you didn't like it. It would be right up your alley. Mace's expression darkened. I can assure you that I do not enjoy being the recipient of ass play. So you've dabbled, I countered without missing a beat. Mace ran a hand over his face. Fuck me, he muttered. You're dirty, little bean, and I don't want you to say another word about it. I shrugged nonchalantly. Don't knock it till you've tried it is all I'm saying. Mace threw up his hands and pushed his feet. Nope, I'm outsies. Love you, Mason, I called as he made a swift getaway. He waved me off and headed for the guys without giving me the satisfaction of retorting. Kimmy and I shared a laugh at Mace's reaction and then settled into catching up. 2. Lil. Alcohol was the devil on my shoulder. He and I went way back, and some of our history wasn't pretty. There was a sickness lurking at the bottom of every bottle, a disease I was susceptible to. It hadn't been an issue in quite some time, and thankfully, Mace had relaxed his constant vigil over my consumption. The few hours that slipped past saw all of us in various states of disarray. I half listened to the conversations around me while I danced a little to the music, lifting a drink to my mouth. I frowned when no liquid passed my lips. Damn, my drink's empty. Literally reading my mind, Mickey leaned over the arm of the couch and dug through the chili bin. His irritation grew with each bottle he pulled out, then put back. Finally making eye contact with me, he gave me the bad news. You're out. There's more in the house. Damn it! I stood and yelled over the music. Hey, does anyone need anything from inside? Oh, Kimmy waved her arm. Another bag of chips, please. Trav ate them all. The fuck? Trav exclaimed indignantly, somehow raising his voice an entire octave. I'll grab two to keep Trav happy. Be right back. No one take my seat, I warned with a savage finger point across the room. Jogging across the lawn and leaving the music and laughter behind me, as well as Trav yelling, yeah, get some, I took the deck steps with a single bound. Entering the familiar kitchen without slowing my pace, I made a beeline for the fridge and yanked it open. This place felt like home, and I treated it as such. Kimmy had moved back in with her parents a couple months ago before they left on a year-long overseas holiday. The Davis residence was designed for entertaining, and the crew planned to make the most of her parents' absence. I shoved various condiments out of the way until I found the ginger beer stash. Quietly celebrating to myself, I moved a few to the bench while dancing to the beat of the outside music. I had my head in the fridge again when an unfamiliar growl of a motorbike caught my attention. It pulled up to the house, then cut out. It wasn't long before a new voice rumbled in conversation with Mace close to the back door. Mickey invaded my mind at that precise moment. Stay inside. We need to talk before you meet this guy. With the fear of missing out getting the better of me, I tightly clasped 3 bottles in each hand and then ran through the kitchen across the deck. In my haste, I utterly failed to see where the last step ended and the lawn began. One moment I was on my feet, the next I had lost all contact with the ground. One leg folded in an awkward angle, my arms flailed and sent bottles in all directions. My long hair whipped wildly around my face before I landed on my ass with a mortified shriek. Shit, my ankle! I growled and clutched the throbbing joint. Despite the pain, I still had the sense to glance around to ensure I wasn't surrounded by broken glass. Mace's booming laughter commandeered my attention until a deep, cynical voice spoke. Who are you? I snapped my head skyward to see a large silhouette of a man standing between me and the fire. I'm fine, by the way, thanks for asking, I deadpanned. The newcomer may have chuckled, though it sounded more like a scoff. He did, however, offer me his hand. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the chapter reading of Ride With Me by Vi Summers. Have a good night.